All good. All right. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to my talk today, How Can Research Make Your Games Better? So as you might notice from my credentials, I'm not a scientist, but I do have extensive research experience and training. I'm unapologetically an artist who does research because research is not something that belongs to any single discipline. So, for the past decade, I've directed the Creative Media and Behavioral Health Center at USC, which is an organized research unit between the School of Cinematic Arts and the Keck School of Medicine. So through this center, I have the pleasure of working with students, alumni, faculty, staff, and guests from every discipline. And we work beyond USC to develop health-related interventions that aim to alleviate physical and mental suffering. So we are guided by philosophy, and we try to avoid blind faith in any single method of research. So we work with people of all ages and all backgrounds across a number of domains, and although we use technology, our work is broadly organized via these research initiatives. Now, these initiatives unify conceptually multiple disciplines, or epistemologies, as we like to say in academia, and via these initiatives, we manage to avoid privileging one epistemology over another. So, before I give you an introduction on how research can make your games better, I would like to explain how adopting a research mindset has really benefited our center and the individuals who work in our community. So, since I launched the USC Games for Health initiative in 2007, a few years before we had the center, I was able to secure a pioneer grant from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation with generous support from colleagues in 3 other schools. Research means collaboration. So this launched my career into this, and by consequence, it influenced the career of others. We've managed to obtain more than $2 million of grants in direct research funding. We've helped others to reach their goals. We've won more than 30 awards for projects, especially in student games, commercialized a high-impact tabletop game known as the Brain Architecture game. We launched a new curriculum, and we even developed a travel abroad course. So while we're in the middle of a pandemic, adapting to a very new research landscape, our sanity is still being preserved through the individual benefits of research. Endless ideas, always learning new things, knowing you're not alone, finding purpose and making an impact in the world, however small or large that can be. So, what is a definition, a working definition of research? There are many. So I paraphrased Wikipedia a little bit because if nothing else, research is about consensus. And Wikipedia is good about summarizing consensus in very broad areas. It's not perfect. Now, although research processes rarely sound exciting, research is defined as creative and systematic activity toward increasing knowledge. So people find their joy in very different things, but they have a common goal, which is to increase understanding. That includes increasing understanding of what came before you, as others have already spoken about. If you ever find yourself thinking that you have an idea that nobody else has ever had, and you haven't even Googled it, I have news for you. You are experiencing a moment of self-delusion. It's okay, we've all been there. Enjoy it, hold it, and then spend some time discovering the myriad ways that other people have thought about the same thing in different ways or similar ways. It's actually good. There's no single path to begin the pursuit of knowledge, and you can combine methods, which is one of the ways that we exercise creativity in research. So as you learn more, you can also hopefully become less dogmatic about your ways. And this will really help you in all aspects of life, not just in game design. So what kinds of research can you do in games? A lot, as it turns out. So first of all, you may need to find an audience or get to know an existing audience. You may need to validate an idea with other people, because if something only sounds good to you, but you've never talked to another living soul about it, you're already in trouble. So you can use research to discover problems with your design and to improve the player experience. Unless, of course, you don't care about your player's pleasure, which I suspect is not true if you're watching this presentation. So research can help you find and close gaps, and therefore it can help you create real innovation by creating something timely and timeless. So research can help you measure how many people and how these people are using your game. This knowledge can help you understand the long-term impact of your game. Capturing impact is very fulfilling, and it also helps you document your success. And of course, research can help you understand the need for new tools and processes, and this can help advance the field of games and methodology in other areas. When should you do research? It's a natural question. The answer to this, so simple: start now, never stop doing research. Formative research, which is done early with a new concept, with luck and hard work, it can move to summative research. The results of each phase feed each other, and sometimes one will bite the tail or the head of the other. Research can help you decide when to pivot, when to pause, when to stop completely. Thus, research is a mindset and also a process and an outcome. You will do it even while you sleep. If all this sounds good and useful, what are some examples of research methods? By no means is this an exhaustive list, but it's certainly a common list, and people use several of these methods, especially at USC. So reviewing prior research in the form of what is published, from books to journals to newspapers, is certainly very important. You have to look far and wide, and yet that alone will not be enough. Experiential activities such as reading about a topic, playing games, visiting places relevant to your project, these are also very important. Even the irrelevant stuff is important because it helps you decide what matters and what does not matter. Now, you're all probably very familiar with questionnaires and interviews and focus groups. At USC Games, we also do a fair amount of observation studies, such as the right method, which helps fix usability problems and design problems early. Now, as your prototypes progress, you can do experimental work that uses randomization and hypothesis testing, or you can do some big data mining if you have a game that generates a lot of data, or even a little bit of data. All of these methods are suitable to various stages of research and development. Now, while research can help you with many things, there's still a lot that it cannot actually do. It will not help you decide if you are averse to making decisions. Do not let the research decide. It has no agency. Yet research cannot protect you from consequences after they happen. It will not help you hide a mistake that needs to be fixed. A problem with your design will not disappear by researching the heck out of it. You will need to iterate and fail until you fix the problem. Also, beware one of the worst offenses in research, which is to claim absolute certainty over something by using data. Statistics are there to measure uncertainty. They're not there to remove doubt completely. Research can also not make right a wrong, and it cannot remove the dependence on actual talent and skill that your team needs to have. It cannot be used to invalidate subjective lived experience or to gaslight people. And it certainly has a scope and validity in terms of how far you can draw conclusions and how methods are to be used. And a word of advice: if you cannot handle uncertainty, decisions, or consequences, you need to seek spiritual, philosophical, or clinical guidance. It will really help you. And I speak from experience. I'm not joking on this. The final topic is ethics. There are too many ethics frameworks, but it's still not enough and still quite unknown, and many principles, and they too have a scope of practice that works in some fields and not in others. So ethical practices are based on philosophy, which comes before and above all disciplines. Ethics frameworks have often been built on precedent, bad precedent, aka minor and major wrongdoings of well-meaning people, but also of maleficent people throughout human history. So ethics hold together the entire moral fabric of society. Games are not exempt from it. If you've never heard of the concepts of beneficence, respect for persons, or justice, you better start Googling. Some of these other concepts, such as consent, privacy, and attribution, they're more commonly seen in design and software development because of legal mandates. And my lament is that waiting until something is legally required in order to do the right thing creates tremendous regulatory burden into the world. So do your part to help. So finally, I have some things here that I'm going to hold for a second, so you can screen capture these, but the talk is also archived, so you can get them later. So just, 5 more seconds here. And before I finalize, I have advice, which other people have also said, the most important part of research in games is something you already do. Just add a research journal to it, you document your experiences, and you're on your way to start being systematic. So thank you very much.